What were the foods that I ate along the Appalachian Trail while I was doing my thru hike? Let's talk it through. Hi guys, I'm Audrey. If you don't know me, on trail I'm known as Glow Stick. In 2018, I quit my job in Washington, D.C. to thru hike the AT from Georgia to Maine. It was awesome. I loved every second, except I did not really love the food. I will be honest. Before we get into this, I do want to offer a warning to people. I'm a vegetarian. I'm usually a very healthy eater. I eat a lot of whole foods. I exercise regularly. Obviously, you get a lot of exercise on the AT. And I came off the trail completely and totally exhausted. And 2 months after I finished the trail, I was still completely and totally exhausted. And I was like, what is going on? Like, something can't be right here, because I kind of expected within a couple of weeks of finishing the trail, I would start to get back to normal. When that didn't happen, after a few weeks, my aunt, who's a phlebotomist, offered to do some blood work for me. And I was thinking, oh gosh, I hope I don't have Lyme or something like that. Well, it turns out that I was super anemic and had high cholesterol. Women in their childbearing years are especially prone to anemia, and I have had anemia before, and vegetarians are more prone to anemia because it's iron deficiency. I'm talking about iron deficiency anemia. So if you're not eating red meat, which is a big source, if you're not eating leafy greens and things like that because you're on a very long backpacking trip, you might also be prone to anemia, which makes you super tired. It makes your hair start falling out, which mine was falling out in huge clumps. It makes you not regulate your temperature very well. So don't make the same mistake I did. I would, in doing it again, personally, as a woman in my childbearing years who knows I'm susceptible to anemia, I would take a women's multivitamin every day and an iron pill. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional. Talk to your doctor about what vitamins and supplements might be right for you, but I just wanted to share that as a word of warning. I probably would have been a lot less tired getting off the trail if I had taken better care of my nutrition. So before I get into what I ate, I just want to say I could have done much better. And on my next thru hike, I will plan to do much better. And I would recommend that you find different ways to get more nutrition into your diet on a thru hike. I know it's tough, but do better than I did. And then the high cholesterol. I mean, I was eating so many processed foods. It was crazy, but that completely bounced out again. I got blood work done another 6 months later. I went and got a full physical and all that. And my levels were back to being really good. The anemia though, that took longer because that takes between 6 and 12 months to correct. So that took a while. Anyway, okay, so back to what I ate on the AT. You know what, let's start here. Let's start with my cooking system. I'll just show you guys in case you're not, already big backpackers and you're not sure how it works. I'll just show you quickly my system. Right now I have an MSR Pocket Rocket. This is one of the most popular lightweight backpacking stoves. It's super easy to use. I didn't have this one on the AT, but I had something very similar that was just an off-brand. Anyway, you just open it up like this. Screw it onto your gas canister. Make sure you get the one with the right threading. And then you twist this to turn the gas on once it's all the way screwed in. And then you bring a lighter or match up here, light it, set your pot on top. So I also have a new pot. Since I did the AT, I just had a cheap aluminum one from Amazon, but I have since bought this one. It's a titanium. Titanium is super lightweight metal. It's great for backpacking stuff. Anyway, you just set it on top, and then I always carry a little lighter. It fits right into my Pocket Rocket container. And then I also have a titanium mug and long-handled spork. The long-handled sporks are especially great because if you're cooking in bags, you can reach it all the way down. If you have a bigger pot, you can reach it all the way down. They just come in handy for a lot of things. Reach it on a peanut butter jar, as opposed to just like a shorter spork that maybe doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the jar. So that's my cook system. And then I had a Z-Packs bear bagging kit. So this is super lightweight. This is, Dyneema composite, whatever, I forget what it's called, but it's super lightweight. This came with a little rock bag as well and a rope. You tie the rope on one end, you toss the rock bag over a tree, and then bring your bag up into the tree. But not going to show you that today, obviously, because I'm in my apartment surrounded by food. Back to the food. At the beginning of the trail, I brought oatmeal and trail mix for breakfast, and I quickly realized I never wanted to eat oatmeal in the morning. I love oatmeal. I eat it in real life, but on the trail, I just did not want it. So I ended up switching to granola. This was my favorite breakfast on the trail. Any kind of granola. I would get the higher protein one when I could, because you're also at a danger, thru-hikers are at a danger of not getting enough protein, and then your muscles will start to break down because of that. And I had friends on the trail that this happened to, and I personally was worried about this because I am a vegetarian and it's a little tougher to get sources of protein out there. So when I could, I got the high protein oatmeal. This one's just a regular one, but I didn't have a specific brand that I love the most. It just was whatever was available in a flavor that I wanted. So I would eat this hot with powdered milk. You can get this stuff usually in the baking section of stores, but sometimes stores wouldn't have it. And if I ran out of powdered milk, then sometimes instead I would use hot cocoa powder or Carnation Instant Breakfast, which also give you some extra vitamins and a little bit of protein. And then I'm a big coffee person, so I would get different types of instant coffees. I tried a bunch of different ones. I would get sick of them just like anything else, so I would just drink a certain kind until I got sick of it, and then I would switch to something else. So right now I have the Starbucks dark roast coffee. I think in an upcoming video, I'm gonna try a bunch of different types of instant coffee and rate them. So let me know in the comments if that would be something that you would be interested in. Oh, and while I'm thinking of it, make sure you subscribe, so if I do that video, you'll see it. And then of course I have lots of other AT content coming, and then hiking and backpacking content. I'll have some really pretty stuff from Colorado this summer, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But anyway, so I'm a person that likes milk in my coffee. So I would also put powdered milk in here, and I don't like it black, so same thing, if I ran out of powdered milk, then I would add some Carnation Instant Breakfast or hot cocoa powder to this. And again, the Carnation Instant Breakfast, I don't think it tastes as good as just plain milk because I don't really like sugar in my coffee, but it is a way to get some extra vitamins and protein, so that's positive. I would sometimes have tortillas with peanut butter or a different spread like Nutella, or when it was cold outside, I would get blocks of cheese or slices of cheese and I would make wraps with that. And I would add, when the weather was cold, I would buy a bag of spinach when I was heading out of town, and that would, last me a few days. I would put it in my wraps, I would put it into my dinners. But once it got warm / hot out, I couldn't bring that anymore because it would be going bad within like half a day. But when it's cold out, take advantage of the natural refrigeration and maybe consider some lightweight produce to help you get your nutrients in. And then of course, like if you go to a restaurant, you can always snack some extra little condiments like mustards or mayonnaise or ketchup, or I like to get the honey ones when I can, occasionally put that in some tea, or even in a wrap with peanut butter. I would also like to get for lunch bagel thins with Laughing Cow cheese because that stuff is delicious and it stays forever. I would sometimes do crackers and cheese, and then I would usually get some dried fruits or something like that. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention about the granola is that as the trail went on and I was doing bigger miles and I felt like I needed more and more calories, I would sometimes add nuts or fruit or chocolate into my granola as well. Occasionally some peanut butter or almond butter as well, especially like once I got to Maine and my body was like, give me calories and fats and all that good stuff. I wasn't actually a big peanut butter person. I mean, I've always liked peanut butter, but on the trail, peanut butter was another one of those things that I didn't really want to eat until I got to Maine and I started craving this stuff like crazy. And I think my body was just like so tired that it was like, yeah, fats and calories, yes. My friend Ibex, the same exact thing happened to her. So we both were like in this peanut butter frenzy together where we wanted peanut butter so often and we kept going through jars so quickly. And if we would run out of peanut butter in the woods, we would be devastated. Like literally in Maine, I wanted to put this on everything. It tasted so good to me. I wanted it 24/7. It's funny how your body changes like that and craves the things that it needs. For snacks, I tried a bunch of different kinds of bars, And inevitably I would like one and then I would get totally sick of it and not be able to eat it anymore. I went through a phase where I was really into the RX bars, which are great, but I got sick of those. This was one bar that I never got sick of and could eat until the end of the trail and still eat. This is the Luna lemon bar. And then of course tried different types of Cliff bars and different types of granola bars and protein bars. And I think that's just kind of the plight of thru-hikers is you know, one thing will work for you for a while and then you'll get so sick of it and you can't eat it anymore. So you just have to keep trying new things. But bars are always great, especially ones with more protein in them. I got really obsessed with gummies, Welch's gummies specifically. I wanted these things all the time, never got sick of them. I found that sometimes on the tough climbs, I really needed a sugar rush to help me get up and over it. And these were just like I love these little individual packs because you can just put them in the hip belts of your pack and they fit really nicely in there, and just eat a couple packs of those and, you know, mid-afternoon snack, it's great. And then candy, of course. Thru-hikers always talk about Snickers being a huge thru-hiker food. I loved M&Ms, maybe the best. I ate a lot of candy at the beginning of the trail, a lot of chocolate, I mean, when it was like cooler out. Then when it was hot out, it would just melt and I wouldn't want it. And then again in Maine, once it got a little cooler again, I started eating candy again. And by that point, I was so hungry and couldn't stand backpacker food that I was eating literally like 3 to 4 candy bars a day because it was easy calories that I could actually stomach and wasn't sick of because I hadn't eaten them for months while it was hot out. For dinners, typically I would eat some sort of noodle. These are Indomies. I love these things so much. They're like fancy ramen basically with multiple flavor packs inside. They're in the Asian aisle or you can buy them on Amazon. My favorite kinds were just the mee goreng. I don't know if I said that right, but it's the fried noodle kind or the hot and spicy. But there's also, these are vegan. There's also a bunch of meat flavored kind, which oddly, I think those are also vegan because the meat's not listed in the ingredients. I think it's just the flavor. So like Thai chicken and things like that. So I'd eat these or normal ramens. I get the soy sauce kind since I'm a vegetarian. I also ate a lot of Norsides because these things are really easy and fast to cook. They're really filling and they are pretty cheap. Sometimes I would add into these, I get the pasta ones or there's rice and beans. I tried a bunch of different kinds. Some I liked, some I didn't. I really didn't get sick of these, but they are, you know, a little higher in salt and maybe not the greatest for you nutritionally. So sometimes I would add into these freeze-dried black beans or dehydrated veggies, but I should have done that much more than I did, to be honest. And of course, mashed potatoes are a hiker classic, but these don't have much nutrition either. Some people like to take these and make them into a ramen bomb, which is where you make ramen and then you add the potatoes. And it's like mashed potatoes and ramen mixed together. It's pretty good, but extremely filling. I only ate one once and I was like, I don't think that's for me. My stomach hurts. But I wasn't big on the mashed potatoes just because they don't have many nutrients in them, but they are really filling. And they're kind of a nice comfort food when it's really cold outside. So a couple nights when it was really cold, I did eat mashed potatoes. And then again in Maine, when I was so hungry, I started eating these with different things on tortillas for lunch, like, you know, cheese and I don't know, different foods because again, they were so filling and my body was just like, give me more food, I don't care what it is. And then of course, some people buy the fancier, more expensive backpacker meals. There's different brands, like Mountain House is a big one, Backpacker's Pantry is a big one. This pad thai is really delicious. But I found that with these, they're not worth the cost. Like usually they cost somewhere between like $7 and $10 just for one meal. They're not any lighter than like the Nora pasta sides, which are really lightweight. And I mean, this might cost you $1, whereas this might cost you $10. So personally, I didn't have a huge budget while I was hiking the AT, so I went with the cheaper options. But every now and again, I would get these for a treat. But again, like, so the pad thai is really delicious, but I've tried several other kinds that I did not think were even that good. So I was like, why would I pay $10 for a meal in the backcountry that I don't even feel like is that good? And these things take a lot longer to cook too. It's like you have to boil water and then put it in the bag, and then it takes like 20 to 30 minutes until this is done. Whereas these noraposticides, you can be done cooking them within like 10 minutes. So anyway, but I would recommend that you add some protein into your noraposticides. A lot of people, like meat eaters, like to add tuna packets or Spam or things like that. My vegan friend Val has just taught me about this stuff called textured vegetable protein, which is made out of soybeans. It's similar to tofu, but like smaller chunks. So he was eating a lot of that on the trail as a way to get more protein, and I think that I would add some of that in next time. I feel like that would taste really good on, you know, a burrito. Get some rice, some of that, some beans, maybe some freeze-dried beans. Make a little burrito or a taco. I feel like you could add that stuff into the noraposticides. Just any other way to get more protein and more nutrients, basically. And then I would often eat, you know, some sort of dessert in the evening, treat myself. Maybe some candy, maybe a little baked good, something like that. Yeah, so that's what I ate on the AT. Again, I would just encourage you to find more ways to add in protein, add in vitamins and minerals. I would sometimes, when I was coming out of town, I would add, like, I'd bring an avocado or an orange or some sort of produce, some sort of treat. And then when I would go to towns, I would always make sure to eat salad while I was there and try to get some fresh fruit, fresh veggies while I was there. In addition to the usual, like, I'd be craving French fries and beer. So I would get that stuff, but then I would also add in some salad. So balance it out as much as you can. So that is what I ate along the AT, basically. If you have any favorite lightweight backpacker meals, I would love to hear about your favorites. And hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more hiking content, and I'll talk to you guys later.